Hello everybody. Hope you all are doing really well. Please confirm me on the chat box if I'm audible and visible clearly or not, and then we will be starting with the session very quickly. Very good afternoon. Please confirm me on the chat box if I'm audible and visible clearly or not. Hello everybody. Hope you all are doing I can also see it on my other device. Okay, so I can see that I'm audible and visible clearly. Thank you so much. Very good afternoon everybody. Hope you all are doing really well. I'm CS Upita Agrawal, your faculty for ACCA AA, AAA and law subjects. And my dear friends, today is a very special day because today we are going to officially start with a AAA batch, and we are going to understand AAA subject in detail in our lecture number 1, which is the orientation session, which is this one. Okay, so in this session we want to break down AAA subject in detail. We want to understand that what is this subject all about, how is it related to other subject, what kind of questions could be asked, what is the overall syllabus and everything. Also, I would be telling you about the batch details at the end of this particular session. So my dear friends, we will start with the objective, then we will go for the exam format, then we will go for how do you need to step up from AA to AAA, how do you need to enter into the shoes of AAA student. Then we are going to discuss about the syllabus in detail. After that, we are going to discuss about some useful tips from ACCA examining team. Then we are going to discuss about technical articles, which technical articles are important. Then we are going to discuss about the pass percentages. Then we are going to discuss about how do you need to answer different types of questions, and then we are going to go for the batch details. Okay, so this session is going to be very descriptive. If you like the session, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel so that you do not miss any of the videos that we are going to bring for you. And my dear friends, I assure you that if you study with me, I am going to make sure that you clear June 2026 attempt. If you have any questions during these sessions, you can feel free to write on the chat box. I would be happy to answer it for you. Okay, so now let's discuss about advanced audit and assurance syllabus, and we are going to discuss about the international syllabus here. My dear friends, first question that I get is this just the advanced version of AA? Is it something that if we have understood AA really well and if we are ready for the advanced level from self-study, can we prepare for it? So we have to discuss about all of that here. Okay, along with that, I would like to tell you that if you are a self-study student, you should watch this video till the very end so that you prepare yourself for the examination by understanding everything that is required. Okay, now let's talk about the objective. So analyze, evaluate and conclude. See, in AA you are generally asked to understand and apply, but here when I am talking about the AAA syllabus, you are also asked to conclude. Now this is very important. See, conclusion chapter is part of the AA syllabus as well, but there the question is majorly on the reporting part, right? Analysis of different parts, working knowledge of it, but here you will be required to conclude as well as a manager also. On the assurance engagement and other audit and assurance issues, sir, other audit related services is there that you should be aware about from your AA syllabus. Just in case if you are not aware anything about from your AA syllabus, don't worry about it, I would be helping you there as well. Okay, now let's talk about there is other audit and assurance services also. So review engagements are there, right? Other assurance services are there in the context of best practice and current developments. Now recommendation, the big recommendation here would be that what you should do is you should ideally appear for AAA paper either along with your SBR paper or just after your SBR paper, because here a lot of answers would require some understanding of the IFRS and IAS standards as well, and that you can get in your SBR syllabus. So it would be highly recommended that you appear for your SBR paper either along with AAA or before AAA. Now exam format, let's talk about the exam format. It's a 3-hour 15-minute exam. So 3-hour not 3-hour 3-hour 15-minute examination. It has 2 sections. All questions are compulsory. When I say so, sir, there is no section C. No, there is no section C. All questions are compulsory, as in we cannot leave any question. See, you can leave it, but there is no choice that is given here between 2 questions. Say there is no such question which will say either appear for 2 or 3, okay, or appear for 4 out of 5. No, all questions are compulsory. Now section A is a 50 mark case study, 50 marks case study, but there is 10 marks of professional skills also, and it talks about various points. Generally this question is asked from the planning stage, where either business risk or audit risk or both are asked. There are questions regarding materiality, Okay, so there is planning and risk assessment question that is generally of 50 marks here. Then section B is 2 questions of 25 marks each. Now let me explain something to you here which is very interesting. Out of this 10 marks are for professional skills. Out of this 50 marks, 10 marks are for professional skills. Similarly, in this 5 marks each are for professional skills. Sir, what is this professional skills? So total 10 plus 5 plus 5, that is 20 marks in the overall paper is of professional skills. Very, very important, right? So what is this professional skill all about? So this professional skill has analysis and evaluation, that is whether you have taken the right points, whether you have analyzed all the impacts on the financial statements as well as the auditor's report or not. Commercial acumen, whether whatever solutions, whatever discussions, whatever conclusions are being given by you, whether that makes business sense or not, whether they are commercially viable decisions or not. Then communication, whether you have clearly articulated the communication, whether you have communicated to the right people in the right manner at the right time or not. And then professional skepticism and professional judgment, whether you have raised the right questions in a given scenario, what was presented in front of you, and whether you have taken the right judgment or not. I hope this is clear. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask here. Yes, any questions? Okay, great. Now let's talk about stepping up from AA to AAA. Let's talk about stepping up from AA to AAA. What happens is, a lot of my students who have studied AA from me, they come to me and say that, sir, you have taught AA so well that now we think we might not be requiring your classes for AAA. On one hand, it's a very good compliment for me, but on another hand, I get a little scared when they say that, because the overall understanding might be same, but the way to prepare for AAA, the level of questions asked that are there in AAA, the level of application that is required in AAA, that's completely different, and that is why it becomes very important for us to understand that what is required when you step up from AA and choose AAA in your professional level also. Okay, so solid technical knowledge is required. Now this could be developed from AA as well. Technical knowledge could be developed from AA as well for a lot of items. Application of technical knowledge to the scenario. Now this application is also covered as part of your AA syllabus. Professional skills marks. Now how do you need to get marks for these professional skills? Because there's no such category that is mentioned in none of the case study. You will see that there's a category. You will never see that there's a category of professional skills. You will have to showcase it while writing your main answer only, and that becomes very, very important when you want to get professional skills marks. See, you want to get 50 marks to pass, right? In that 50 marks, 20 marks is of professional skills only. So if you don't lose it, there would be a greater chance that first of all you will pass, and if you really perform well, you might get a rank also. And that is why it becomes very important for us to understand how do you need to gain marks for professional skills. Okay, now syllabus differences are between AA and AAA. There are certain syllabus difference also. Let me explain. Say if I talk about due diligence, that is not covered as part of AA, but is covered is covered as part of AAA. When I talk about review engagements, that is also covered in AA, but it is covered in a little more detail in AAA. When I talk about professional ethics, so ethics is covered as part of AA as well, but when you come to AAA, you will see that it is covered on a different level, in a very deeper level. So that is why there are syllabus differences also, and you need to understand it. Now exam format. So ACCA focuses primarily on level 1 and 2. What is this level 1 and 2? So here, level 1 is knowledge and comprehension, level 2 is application and analysis, whereas level 3 means synthesis and evaluation. That is, you have to synthesize the problem, then you have to find the solution after doing the great evaluation. Now, while AAA is primarily focused on level 2 and 3. And ability to have an independent opinion backed by reasoned judgment. So in AA, you will see very few questions where you will be asked to define or to conclude or to issue your opinion, but in case of AAA, you will see it in every different question, and that is one of the core things of your AAA syllabus. Now, when I talk about the syllabus itself, I hope no questions still here. Yes, I hope no questions still here. Okay, perfect. Now let's talk about the syllabus here. Okay, when I talk about the syllabus here, the syllabus is divided into major categories, and we will be discussing about all those categories here. Okay, Number one is regulatory environment. Regulatory environment. So it talks about the international regulatory framework. It talks about corporate governance. It talks about laws and regulations. It talks about money laundering. And believe me, this one topic might look like very small topic, but money laundering impacts the AAA paper on a different level. Whenever you will see any of the AAA paper, be it the mock paper, be it the pre-scene, you will always see a question on money laundering. That is because it is very, very important topic. Then professional and ethical considerations. This will cover the professional code of ethics. We discuss about the fundamental principles of ethics. We discuss about the threats also, code of ethics. We discuss about fraud and error also. So I said 240, 250. Then professional liability also, and if there is any capping on the professional liability, then we discuss about that also. Then quality management. Now this is something that is not or very little covered in AA syllabus. It's covered on a AAA syllabus in a very deeper level. Quality management. This also talks about quality management for one audit. This also talks about quality management for the entire firm, and it also talks about the engagement quality reviewer. All of these is covered in your AAA syllabus on a little deeper manner, and I would say that this is another important topic that always forms part of your AAA paper, and if you miss it, you might lose a lot of marks on your AAA paper. Okay. Now, quality management, firm and engagement level, advertising. So, is ACCAs are ACCAs allowed to advertise? So, for some services they are, for some services they are not. We will have to discuss about it. Tendering. What is this tendering? This is related to tender, invitation to offer that we discuss. And obtaining professional work and fees. How an ACCA person can obtain the work. Then professional appointments. How the auditors are appointed and so on. Then comes the important part of your audit syllabus, which is planning and conducting an audit of historical financial information. Here we discuss about how the planning happens, how the auditor decides whether they want to accept a particular engagement or not. If the particular engagement is accepted, how the auditor needs to plan for it, how will the auditor understand the entity, how will the auditor identify the appropriate risk that might be there in the entity, how the auditor will evaluate the risk, how the auditor will respond to those risks. All of this is covered over here. How the auditor will obtain evidences, how the auditor will perform procedures, planning, materiality, assessing the risk, everything is covered over here. Then using the work of others. So others, yes, see what happens is, even if you feel that other person is not involved, sometimes others are involved. So that is why you will have to see if there's a requirement of the other person. Now when I say other here, what I mean is, I mean the auditor's expert, I mean the management expert, or I mean the internal auditor. Group audits. Now this is something that is only and only covered in your AAA syllabus and not in your AA syllabus. Group audits. You have already discussed group accounting in your SBR syllabus by now, right? Now here we are going to discuss about how the auditor needs to conduct the audit for group audit. So it should be very simple, no? Like a company, there's a group, that's it. No, my dear friends, all of these companies are combined together in a group, like you might have done. Really sorry, I think some mic issue. Allow me 1 minute. Yes, really sorry. So I feel I got a little more excited and just threw the punch on the mic. I think it's clear now. Yes. Okay. So when I was talking about the group audits, what happens is, it's not just the merging of it. You will have to eliminate the transaction. You will have to apply the audit procedures over it. Then completion, review and reporting. Here we will discuss about subsequent events, going concern. But sir, this subsequent event we have already discussed in our SBR syllabus, FR syllabus. Is it same? No, it's completely different. Even the definition is different. And this is where a lot of students make mistake. They feel that subsequent event is something that we have already understood. My dear friends, you have understood the accounting of it. You have not understood the auditing part of it, and this is very, very different. Even the definition is different. The period that is covered by subsequent event is different in case of audit, in case of FR and accounting. Going concern, we'll have to see if there is any material uncertainty related going concern, and we'll have to respond appropriately. Now these are the newer terms that you might be hearing, right? And this is core part of the audit. So is it very, very tough to clear audit? No. What is more important is, you should get into the shoes of the auditor. Once you get into the shoes of the auditor and then think that what the question is asking, and then you frame your answer, you will definitely clear the AAA paper. And my dear friends, I am going to use my EY India experience as well as KPMG Bahrain's experience to make it very, very easy for you, to make you understand how an auditor takes the judgment in a particular case, because I have taken thousands of such a judgment during my journey, and I'm going to ensure that you also understand it really well. Okay, now auditor's report, very important. This is something that is going to the public, so imagine that how important this must be. Now, report to those charged with governance and management. So what is this those charged with governance? See, if you have understood AA, then by now you should be aware that who is those charged with governance. But my dear friends, even if you don't remember, please feel free. I would be explaining it to you before we move further. Okay, so those charged with governance we will be discussing in detail before we move further to other parts of the syllabus. And after that, there would be other assignments which would include audit related and assurance services, specific assignments, public sector, other assignments, the assurance of sustainability information. Again, very important topic, a new topic. You have studied it in AA syllabus as well, some part in SBR syllabus as well, and here we are going to discuss from the point of view of AAA. Then there would be some current issues, professional skills, and employability and technology skills, and with this we will be completing our syllabus. Hope this is clear till now. Yes. Okay, so now so what did you do? See, whenever you tend to lose focus, okay, what you should do is, in my opinion, what you should do is you should just rub your hands like this, and then you should do this. This brings back all, not the memories, the energy. This brings back all the energies to you, and you will be able to focus more. Okay, now useful tips from ACCA examining team. Read the question carefully and be familiar with different types of questions. Why is this written over here? Because a lot of times it is asked to comment and people start discussing. A lot of times it is asked to conclude and people start explaining. Not true. Then not appropriate. Then give specific answers rather than generalized one. Auditor will verify the invoice. Very generalized answer. Auditor will verify the invoice number in the invoice to ensure that the invoice was generated before the year end. Very specific procedure, right? That is how you need to write answer. Refer examinable documents for your exam. What if say ISA 200 is not covered but you are studying it? So you have to understand the examinable documents, that what are the examinable items, what are the examinable topics, and then you should prepare for it. Ensure that the proposed audit procedure. Sir, is this something that you have written or the examining team have written? Examining team have written. I am just communicating it to you. Written as in I have personally drafted it, but the document was released by the examining team only. Okay, my dear friends. Now, ensure that the proposed audit procedure meet the assertion being tested. If it is asked, evaluate the valuation of the bank confirmation, and you are writing we will obtain bank confirmation for it. That is the evidence for the existence assertion, not the valuation assertion. So you should always evaluate whether the audit procedure that you are explaining, that you are mentioning, whether that is for the relevant assertion or not. Then don't just list the issues but also explain why you think it is an issue. That some students write, finance director should not have done this, should not have taken this decision. Why, my dear friend? Why do you think that that is not a right judgment? You have to explain it. You cannot do so. That finance director has not taken the appropriate judgment. Why it is not an appropriate judgment? What could be an alternative judgment? You will have to explain it. Keep track on time and try not to overrun too much. Now, this is the most beautiful mistake that everybody makes. You know, one of my students wrote a beautiful answer for a 50 marks question. Amazing answer, literally the most amazing answer that I have ever seen. Okay, but the only problem was he or she took 2 hours to write that answer. Now, if they would be writing that answer in 2 to 2.5 hours, then when they will be appearing the remaining paper? So then I feel that time management is very important. Then revise, practice. Revise, sir, will you help us revise also? Yes, I will be conducting multiple revision sessions. Practice, yes, I will be conducting mock test, I will be conducting practice sessions as well. Refer examiner reports, you don't need to worry, I will be doing it for you. And review your performance. Now this is also I would be doing along with my mock test that I will be conducting with you. Okay. Now technical articles, my dear friends, I have given a list of the technical articles here. You can refer this list and you can read the relevant technical articles from all stages. My dear friends, if you want the link of this particular document, what you should do is you should just comment document whatever your queries are, please feel free to comment. I would be happy to answer it for you. Okay. Now pass percentages. This is published on the ACCA official website. December 25 38%, September 25 40%, June 25 40%, March 25 39%, December 24 39%, September 24 38%, June 24 37%. So this is something that is very average, right? 38 to 40% is the average passing percentage. Answering the question. Now I'll be creating or I'll be guiding you in different ways when there would be question solving sessions on how you need to evaluate and answer and frame your answers for various requirements that could be mentioned. Say analyze, say apply, say assess, calculate, comment, compare, conclusion, criticize, define, describe, discuss, evaluate, explain, illustrate, interpret, list, outline, prepare, recommend, relate, state, summarize. Now this is something that looks similar, but you will have to answer differently for different points here. Say if I ask you to define, then the question is, if the question is asking you to define, then you will have to write what is exactly written in the technical text. You will have to define in the same language. But if it is writing describe, then along with the definition you will have to give certain examples and explain it in simple words also. If it is written discuss, you will have to mention the positive as well as the negative. If it is written criticize, you will have to focus on the negative points. That is how you need to frame your answers for various requirements, and we will be discussing about it in detail. My dear friends, any questions so far? Any questions so far? Any questions so far? I hope so. No? Yes? Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now batch details. My dear friends, this batch is exclusively created for June 2026 students. We have divided it into multiple parts. First part is concept lectures. We are going to provide you the recorded mode of the concept lectures so that you can watch it at your own pace. There are people who can understand a concept in just one go. You might be required to repeat it. You will be allowed to repeat it. Don't worry. English language would be used so that you are able to understand the keywords. You are able to draft it as well. IFRS brush-up lectures would be provided for free. Why? Because some students might feel that they are forgetting the IFRS standards or IAS standards, which is making their answer writing journey a little difficult. So if you require it, please ask for it. We will be happy to provide it to you. Practice sessions would be live in English mode only, but these practice sessions would not always be live. These practice sessions would be provided to you along with the recorded format as well. Whenever there would be a requirement of any important question, we will be going live also for that. So live for important questions and recorded for other questions. Okay. English case studies plus case scenarios would be covered. Query you can ask on WhatsApp, you can ask on the app, and you can also ask it during a live session which we will be conducting every Saturday at 8 p.m. Mock test, definitely 6 tests would be there, 3 unit tests and 3 full syllabus tests would be covered with evaluation. What will you get? So you'll get a hard copy of handwritten summary notes. Sir, hard copy of handwritten summary notes like this kind of hard handwritten only? Yes, this kind of handwritten only. Okay. Hard copy of question bank. This will include question bank from all resources. All the important questions will be covered over here, and I will also provide you the board notes, because whatever annotations we do, whatever writings we do, that should also be provided to you. Duration, the start date is today, 15th March 2026. We have already conducted a first session where we have completed the orientation. End date would be mid of May 2026. I have already mentioned the links of the demo lectures, the revision lectures, and every other relevant link in the description box. Please go there, check it out, and do let me know if you have any queries in the comment section. Duration would be approximately 90 hours. Validity would be 3 months, which could be extended to for 3 months on request. With this, I have completed all the details that I wanted to communicate with you for the AAA paper. Now, my dear friends, I would like to guide you on one particular part here. Whenever you go for any of the preparation of the professional skill paper, particularly AAA, okay, what you have to consider is you are not just learning the subject, you are developing your career, because once you qualify any of the professional paper, you would mostly be eligible to apply for jobs. Say if you clear AAA as a paper, you might be allowed to apply for a lot of jobs which is related to audit and assurance. So this is your chance to learn all of that. So do not just study it from the point of view of the examination. You also have to study it from the point of view of how it is applied in the real world. And believe me, when you see the AAA question papers, you will see that a lot of case studies are framed from the real life, which are very, very amazing. I have particularly faced multiple such situations, and I can tell you that whenever I read a triple equation, I can always say that this is the real life scenario, and therefore you have to develop a mindset of the auditor, not just learn the technical text. And that is why I would request you that whenever you decide your classes, you should always choose the teacher who has actually conducted the audits, so that you can definitely learn from a practical point of view as well. And when I say practical, I do not just mean that you should learn with examples, but what I mean is that you should be able to step into the shoes of the auditor and then think that what you should be doing. So I would be using all of my Indian as well as international experience to make this subject a very interesting and a scoring subject.